What's up, YouTube land? Xeno Gaming here, and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team series, episode number 36 today, and we are ready here for the Belgian Grand Prix. And yeah, not much really to add from last episode, apart from the fact we got a podium, which is always really good. And now we look forward to the Belgian Grand Prix. We've had the summer break, so all the teams are well rested and ready for the second half of the season, and this is a quite important race to see how we fare around this track, which will give us an idea for Monza. And it's also one of the last races on a fairly worn engine, so yeah, gonna have to manage that. I don't want to. I'm going to put the fresh engine. Sorry, I can't speak. In for Monza, so that's just how I plan to do it. And yeah, we'll go on here, and there is the confirmation. As I was saying at the end of the last episode, Sebastian Vettel has retired from Formula 1, and as Carl states here, very, very well, what I add, it does put a lot of intrigue on this, who's going to replace him at Ferrari for that seat. And you know, with myself wanting to pick up another driver, an experienced driver, it's going to be a lot of intrigue around the driver market this off-season, as we now head here into qualifying. So yeah, it should be a good session, and hopefully we can put the car on the front row, towards the front of the grid. I was going to say the front row, but I don't think that is possible this afternoon. So coming now for a wet qualifying as well. So here's our first run in Q1, and yeah, have really struggled in these wet qualifyings. And here's the second lap, obviously going to improve as you do when you run in these qualifyings. You go out on the first lap, feel for the conditions, feel for the grip, and then you pick up a little bit of confidence on the second lap, and you just keep improving as you keep driving around the circuit. Unlike the AOA, who can just go out there and bang in a lap, they don't constantly improve. They kind of set their benchmark, and then by about 3-4 laps in, you might get to that time. But anyway, as I come through our Rouge here, I was a bit more committed than I was the last previous laps, and probably too committed, and almost put it in the barrier there. And then this is I think next lap round, and coming through Pullman. Actually, I think I was on an in lap. I wasn't even pushing that hard. Just lost the rear a bit, and that was it. It's all over. It's in the wall. It's out of the session. Massive accident there, and unfortunately, we're going to be starting towards the back of the grid. We're not going to be getting into Q2, as it even got a bit dry towards the end of the session. So you see there, we qualify in 17th place. So just getting knocked out there. Hubert in 15th, getting through to Q2, which is a little bit disappointing. So yeah, not much more. Yeah, poor session for myself once again in the wet, tricky conditions. That's happened at France, it's happened at Silverstone, now here again at Belgium. So yeah, just struggled this year in qualifying in tricky conditions. Don't make it easy for myself when you qualify down in the back. But this is just before the race, getting a new bit of durability on the car, but you know, also the engine component, we'll deal with that after the race. But you know, I'll give it to Crofty now for the race.
We're in Belgium once again for today's round of the Formula 1 World Championship. It's a race the great Ayrton Senna won 6 times, and in 2019, Charles Leclerc became the first driver to take their maiden win here since Michael Schumacher in 1992. So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners, and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high-quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Let's talk about the captain. No grid penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
They'll have a sinking feeling as they look up from the cockpit and realise they're in a different postcode to the start line for sure. But the one positive they can hold on to is that the car is quick and they can make their way through the field.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Ocon, Carlos Sainz, and Gasly, Ricciardo. They've taken a grid penalty. Norris, Stroll, and Charles Leclerc. Albon, Kvyat, Antoine Hubert, and Verstappen, Vettel, Russell, the captain, and Kevin Magnussen. Giovinazzi, Latifi, De Vries, and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Welcome everybody to the Grand Prix, the race day here for the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, Belgium Grand Prix. And we are changing our strategy from a soft medium to a medium soft. Just want to be that little bit stronger at the second half of the race, do the alternate strategy, and hopefully that can pay off for us here today. I didn't take any. I'm taking penalties for the next race at Monza, but now I think about it, I probably could have taken penalties here because it was already starting towards the back, but yeah, didn't think to do it that way. So we're going to take the penalties at Monza in the next race, and I wanted to do it at that track because it's a bit easier to overtake than all the other tracks on the calendar, and I don't want to take a penalty at Singapore where we could be quite strong. So yeah, without further ado though, we'll strategy set, and we've got a good car, so in the dry, so let's see if we can do some damage here in the race. So yeah, got Russell starting ahead of us here on the grid, Vettel. So yeah, a few penalties handed out to a few drivers. You got Verstappen, who's in the midfield as well, so that's quite interesting. So yeah, the grid isn't as qualified, but here we go for the 5 red lights here for the Belgium Grand Prix. And we're racing here in Spa, and we get a pretty decent launch here, better than Russell and Vettel. We're looking up the inside of Vettel, and we're going to go past Hubert, past an AlphaTauri, Verstappen as well. We're now side by side with Leclerc, and we've got the AlphaTauri here on the outside. That's Kvyat and Verstappen, so we're 3 wide at some point there, but they've both got better traction on the exit of La Source. As now we go up the hill through Eau Rouge for the first time, and up the Camel Straight, and see almost we did understeer off the track there in the dirty air, but using overtake mode, but not much doing for us here into Les Combes, and we're going to settle for the place behind Verstappen here, and I can't work out what position that exactly is. It looks like 12th place on, because it looks like Verstappen, or maybe that's 14th, because I think Verstappen's 13th, so yeah, 14th place I think, and that's decent from 17th on the grid, so we'll take that for sure. We're ahead of Russell, we're ahead of our teammate. We're on the medium tyre here, and so is George Russell, and everyone else around us looks like they're on the soft tyre, so we haven't got an immediate threat to the driver behind us here, as we run a little bit wide there, missed the apex, but we're now just going to settle into a race rhythm, and yeah, we're not going to we're going to try and keep up with these guys, but we know they're going to be a little bit quicker here in the first 5-6 laps, until their soft tyres start wearing out, and then we'll start coming back at them. We're getting a really nice slipstream here, not using any overtake mode, just getting a really good run here. Maybe if I decided to use a bit of overtake mode, maybe I could have had a go at Verstappen into the bus stop. I'm still getting very close. I'm going to have a look to the inside, and we're going to have a real lunge here at Verstappen. He gives us plenty of room on the inside, and it's going to be a run down to La Source in the turn 1. He gets a better exit than us, and we're not going to be able to dive from this far back into La Source. Although we do stick the nose up the inside to see if we can scare him off the apex, but we're going to cut now to lap 9, because I'm telling you now, nothing happened. The guys, Verstappen ahead, pulled away. The guys ahead pulled a couple of seconds away. I kept the cars behind. No one overtook me. I didn't overtake anyone. You got Hamilton behind us, who's already done his first pit stop. So I got Leclerc ahead. He's the guy I've been chasing for the last few laps, but this has been the gap pretty much, and hasn't really gotten any shorter, as he's going to peel off now on the soft tyre into the pits, and we're going to stay out on our medium tyres, just keep going. And we've got Bottas, and this is a bit of bad luck here for Lewis Hamilton. So Nick de Vries out of the race, safety car gets deployed, and Bottas comes right out ahead of me. So I wonder without the safety car if that would have been a lot closer, but because we had the slop in the exit of La Source. So yeah, I'm going to come straight into the pit lane now, and this is not a good safety car for me because it's way too early for the soft tyre. but I don't need to be staying out on the medium tyre. Well, everyone's got a fresh tyre on it. It's ruined my race to safety car a little bit in terms of optimal strategy. I have to come in. I can't put the soft tyre on to the end of the race. I don't think that's a good idea. So I just go for the safe option and put on the hard tyre. There's not really much more I can do. So it's a little bit unfortunate. But however, because there was a safety car and everyone was going slow, we've gained a lot of positions here through that, and we're now ahead of Kvyat and Gasly, behind Perez, and slip into 11th position. But then there's a few guys who are still on the soft tyre who haven't pitted yet. There are a few guys who still haven't pitted yet, and whether don't know why they didn't pit during the safety car, but one of them is Giovinazzi, just ahead of us. And now we'll look to get a good restart here, but on the hard tyre it's going to be very difficult. Looks like Gasly also on the hard tyre, so he looks like he's the guy we are directly fighting for today. I mean, we've got Kvyat behind. We'll see if we can hold him off. We'll try and keep up with Sergio Perez. It's just going to be very difficult on this harder compound tyre. You see, we didn't get a very good exit out of turn 1. There was not a lot of grip for these hard tyres. And yeah, they're just a really slow tyre, especially around the circuit. You see Kvyat's getting a really good run on us here. Without DRS though, we're having to defend the inside line. He goes to the outside. Can Danny Kvyat get past us at Les Combes? We managed to defend the position here on lap 12 and stay in 11th position. So, like I said though, a few guys haven't pitted yet, including Antonio Giovinazzi. And look at the run we get here. He just has no grip on those soft tyres. Don't know why he's still out there and didn't pit during the safety car. It's so weird that the AOI didn't pit him. A couple of cars. Russell's out, who's on the medium tyre, and I understood why he was out being on the medium. I thought, but even so, he's going to come straight in to the pits right here, and there's the McLaren in the pit lane as well. We'll see which McLaren that's in a second. That's Carlos Sainz, and that's going to put us up into 8th position, and everyone else ahead has pitted. We're now cutting to lap 19 here because, like I said, Perez has pulled away from us. We haven't got the pace to keep up with him on the hard tyre. Kvyat has been behind us. We had a couple seconds on him, but he's come back at us a little bit. We had about a second, but he's got back into that DRS range now, and now he's starting to attack us with 3.5 laps to go here. So we've got a nice gap back to Gasly on the same tyre as us. So we know we've got good pace in the car, but it's hard when you don't have that tyre advantage. And here we go, next lap round. Kvyat's having a go at us again, but this time he's not close enough, and now Gasly's also starting to close in as well, with us being just fighting a little bit more. And yeah, last lap now, so this is Kvyat's last opportunity here, and maybe his best opportunity yet, because he's getting a much better run out of the source and up through Eau Rouge. He's getting a great tow. I'll go to the inside here. He follows my slipstream, but maybe a little bit too late, because he's not going to be able to get side by side into Les Combes, and we're going to hold on to the position. He's got one more opportunity now, going down into the bus stop chicane. And though, however, we've been pretty good through Stavelot here and the run up through Blanchimont down to the bus stop, and he is a little bit too far back here. So Valtteri Bottas is going to set the fastest lap on the last Grand Prix, win the Grand Prix once again. Valtteri Bottas has staked his claim to be this year's Drivers' Champion, and we're going to come through the bus stop for the final time, and we're going to come across the line here to finish in 8th place and collect 4 points.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here at Spa-Francorchamps, but they've done so in spectacular style. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
At the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. Belt has had on the driver's standings. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant, who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I have to give it to the captain. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So another Mercedes 1-2 here this weekend in Belgium. Ricciardo picks up a podium. Disappointing once again from Red Bull. 4 points for us is solid. Hubert didn't have a very good race, finishing down in 17th position. So yeah, really okay Grand Prix. Didn't really ever have the pace, being always at a tyre disadvantage. But yeah, Red Bull have really let their guard down today. Verstappen was not even nowhere near it today. Albon had an okay race. He's an average race from a Red Bull driver though. So yeah, even though they're quite high on the performance chart, Red Bull have just struggled. Ever after, you know, I think around Spain, Baku maybe, Max was clearly out in front, and it's just been a massive turnaround by Valtteri Bottas and Mercedes. So yeah, good work by them to swing that around, because you know it looked like Verstappen was going to run away with it after the first 6-7 races, but now it doesn't look like anyone can beat Mr. Bottas. He's just dominating the field at the minute. And yeah, so we're now going to simulate all the way up to the Italian Grand Prix, and this should be a decent Grand Prix for us, because the Mercedes engine in our car, you know, it works really well on the I can't get my words out, on the high speed straights, on the high speed tracks. And yeah, we should be able to set the car up well for that track. I normally go alright at Monza, so yeah, should be good. And looking forward to that race. We're going to take engine penalties, so we're probably going to be starting last on the grid, but that's fine. Just a few worn components, and so we're going to get the fresh ones in, and we'll deal with that. So we've got that engine bit that's failed under the development, and we'll have to use resource points into that, and was hoping to get it for Monza. I don't know if that's going to happen now, September 9th on a Wednesday. I don't think that's going to be coming for the Italian Grand Prix. And if I had to remember, I think I did develop this at the end of last episode, and then I quit the game, but I'd already simulated, so I'd quit the game, and then it didn't save, then I forgot, and then I didn't realise to redevelop it until after the Grand Prix weekend. And that was also during the Grand Prix weekend there, I also developed a durability component as well. So yeah, just a bit of mismanagement by myself.
Our new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
So we do have new upgrades there, but I think that was the durability upgrade. So anyway, looking forward though to this Grand Prix, you can see our engine components, how they're looking. It's really just the control electronics that's really been giving me, you know, a lot of problems, and that's why we're going to change that out. And also the energy store, we're going to change it. That's where we're getting the engine penalties from today. But then we're not going to have to, I don't believe we're going to have to change the engine again this season. The engine will be fine to run for the rest of the season like this. So yeah, that's the reasoning. Just take the penalties here at Monza, and then that power unit, we're going to put the power unit we raced in Belgium actually back in the car for, apart from energy store and control electronics, for Singapore, and then put, because that's the top speed, the power's not really needed around that track, and then all the new bits will be for Monza and the other races moving forward. So that's the plan. Anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Please leave a like, subscribe for plenty more content on this channel, and yeah, until the next video, guys, I will see you next time. Goodbye.